Well, good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Woodbine Mohawk Park for another day of our rookie showcase. Today, coming up, there are 10 qualifying races, all for 2-year-old fillies, the first of which is already stepping out onto the track. It is a warm Thursday morning here in Campbellville. The temperature expected to climb up into the high 20s today. The track is fast. Really, the wind at the moment appears to be coming out of the west, so it might be a bit of a headwind when they do turn down the lane, but otherwise, I have to say, fantastic conditions for this mid-June Thursday morning. So as mentioned, the horses are coming onto the track for our first qualifier. My name is Mark McKelvey, and I'll be joined by a couple of special guests throughout the morning. Our man Greg Blanchard, he's on assignment today, but he'll be back tomorrow when we do have another round of qualifiers, and those are actually being drawn this morning. So probably by the time that we do get off the air later today, we'll have an idea of how many 2-year-old colts and geldings will be going forward come Friday morning. And it's a busy week here at Woodbine Mohawk Park, obviously all building up to Saturday night for the Pepsi North America Cup, the marquee $1 million event, part of a $2.5 million card. It's always a fantastic evening of racing, and very deep and filled with local connections. We'll talk a bit about that as the morning does roll on. But as mentioned, we've got 10 qualifiers today. That means after qualifier number 5, we will take about a 20-minute intermission before qualifiers then will resume. Horses are lining up for the first qualifier on this Thursday morning. 2-year-old trotting fillies are going to kick things off. Number 1 is Talbot Ibiza, muscle mass filly. Brett McDonald to drive, make the driver here now Sylvain Filion. 2 is Val for Vanna. Todd Ratchford drives this Resolve filly for trainer Matt Bax. 3 is Kanagami Rose, a muscle mass 2-year-old filly. It is Doug McNair for trainer Greg McNair. 4 is Baden Baden, a Green Manalishi filly. Tyler Jones for trainer Duncan Brewer. 5 is Lasting Dream, Cantab Hall filly. Luke Blade trains, Louis Waugh listed to drive. 6 is the Green Book, a Green Manalishi filly, trained by Shannon Henry with Trevor Henry. And 7 is TH Monica. That is a Green Manalishi filly. James McDonald for trainer Francis Dumichel. So it's a field of 7 to kick things off here this morning at Woodbine Mohawk Park, as we've got 2-year-old trotting fillies set to go. It's all fillies here today, the first of 10 on this Thursday morning. Gate picking up speed, and here they come for qualifier number 1. Off stride was number 4, Baden. The rest of them are off and trotting, and we're going to see Val Vanna be able to step out ahead and get the first call. From the outside is TH Monica looking to cross over. At the rail is Talbot Ibiza, and then in behind that rival as they go past us for the first time is Kenogami Rose. Ducking in behind into 5th, that is going to be Talbot Ibiza, and then taking a seat there is the Green Book. So they go into the first turn. Making it to the front will be TH Monica. In 2nd is Val Vanna. Talbot Ibiza is there in 3rd. Then is Kenogami Rose in 4th. 5th is Lasting Dream as we go back to the Green Book, and then our breaker before the start, Baden is the trailer. The opening quarter was hit in 32 and 3, and the Trotters will move into the backstretch for the first time. And out in front, it's a Green Manalishi filly. This is TH Monica in the career debut, and she's on the front by 2 lengths. Val Vanna is then racing in 2nd, tracked closely 3rd by Talbot Ibiza. A bit of a gap going back to Kenogami Rose, who is 4th, about 8 or 9 lengths off the lead. Another few lengths then to Lasting Dream, going to be followed by the Green Book, and then our trailer is Baden. So as they come up towards the midway point, nothing's changed here. TH Monica continues to show the way. 1:02 and 3 was the half-mile clocking. The Trotters are getting set to hit the far turn, and it continues to be TH Monica that shows the way. TH Monica leading it by 3.5 lengths. Val Vanna has been 2nd since the word go. Then it's Talbot Ibiza in 3rd. 6 or 7 lengths going back to Kenogami Rose in 4th. The others starting to stack up a bit, including Lasting Dream, the Green Book, and then our trailer after the break before the start, Baden. So they hit 3/4 in 1:31 and 2. And to the top of the stretch, here is TH Monica. So that one turned it up 28 and 4 in the 3rd quarter, and TH Monica is clear by 5. 2nd continues to be Val Vanna as Talbot Ibiza stays in behind that one in 3rd. Looks like the Green Book has now moved up into 4th. There's a 1/16 of a mile to go, and TH Monica, this is a nice looking debut. The lead is going to stretch in deep stretch. It will be TH Monica to take the first. Val Vanna finishes in 2nd, then Talbot Ibiza was 3rd. The time of the mile was 2 minutes and a 1/5. All right, first qualifier on this Thursday morning is now in the books, as it's a nice debut, as mentioned, for TH Monica, daughter of Green Manalishi, a $40,000 yearling purchase out of the London Classic. Goes all the way on the front to win it in 2 minutes and a 1/5 for James McDonald and trainer Francis Dumichel. And again, that was the first time out for this Green Manalishi filly. We love what we've seen from the Green Manalishi so far. And for TH Monica, as mentioned, so a $40,000 purchase. And this one here is the second foal, I should say, for, actually this is the first foal for a Bluebird D-Train. As that mare, she made $45,000. She was a daughter of Swan for All, so the Green Manalishis get a victory right off the hop. 2 minutes and a 1/5, a final quarter in 28 and 4, which was identical to that 3rd quarter of 28 and 4. All right, we've got things now off and going on this Thursday morning here on COSA TV for our Rookie Showcase Day number 2. 2-year-old fillies are in the spotlight. We'll take our first time out of the morning and come back and set the scene for qualifiers 2 through 10, maybe even bring in a special guest.
The London Classic Yearling Sale, Canada's premier standardbred auction, returns October 15th and 16th to the Western Fair District Agriplex. Recent London sales standouts include O'Brien Award winners and millionaire performers, Logan Park, Fashion Frenzy, and Stockade Sealster. Leading North American consigners and yearlings by top sires, all under one roof in a world-class facility. Find your next champion at the London Classic Yearling Sale. Find out more by visiting londonclassic.ca.
For over 25 years, Tara Hill Stud has worked with partners to help produce champion stallions. We are proud to have bred great racehorses like Fade Out, Shower Play, Precious Delight and There's a Demon in Me. Our stallions, past and present, have had tremendous success while making a huge impact on racing across North America. Tara Hills Stud, where champions stand and champion yearlings are raised. Log on to tarahills.com.
All right, everybody, we are back here. Day number 2, Rookie Showcase here on COSA TV. My name is Mark McKelvey, and as mentioned, we'll have a couple of special guests joining us throughout the morning, the first of which, a man that needs no introduction, Bill O'Donnell joining us. And Bill, a beautiful morning. Really couldn't get much better than this. It was a little cooler earlier in the week, so we'll take this.
Absolutely. This is supposed to be... this is supposed to stay until October now, I heard. So.
That'd be pretty nice, especially if we can get that right through this weekend with the big races coming up Saturday night. I know we're going to focus on the 2-year-olds today, but when you look ahead to what's coming up on Saturday night, and especially so many locals in the North America Cup this year, that's pretty exciting.
So not only locals, contenders. I mean, there's 6 or 7 there that are real. I mean, they're pretty evenly matched bunch, I think. They all went good races there the other night, and that's the best cup I've seen in a long, long, long time, I think, the most competitive one anyway.
Yeah, exactly that, and I think we were talking about it the other day, Greg and I, when we were covering the baby races before the elim. We thought it was pretty wide open, and I don't think anything really changed after the eliminations. There's probably 4 of them that you could consider to be the favorite when it is post-time, and like you said, I think almost everybody in the race, if they won, you wouldn't be shocked.
No. It all come down to trip, like any time, right? So I don't think there'd be a dominant horse just go to the front and kind of control the whole race. I don't think that's going to happen, but it'll be interesting.
Yeah, exactly that. So we'll look forward to that coming up on Saturday night. We'll talk about it a bit more later on in the morning, but today it's all 2-year-old fillies, 10 qualifiers. It felt like it was a pretty good winter. Talking to some of the trainers, felt like they were ready to go, and really picks up today with 10 of them just for 2-year-old fillies. Probably about the same number, I'd guess, tomorrow for the colts. From your vantage point, I take us back, when the baby races would go on, those first few. How much did you enjoy that time? Is it a little stressful? Are you trying to make some decisions, trying to play the politics a bit for some of the barns?
Well, when I remember the Meadowlands had 36 qualifiers and baby races one morning, and I drove 24. Probably 18 or 20 of them would be 2-year-olds, but you really look forward to getting behind a nice one, right? And some of the ones that would shock you, that guys would say, well, I don't know, she's not that good, or he's not that good, and all of a sudden he'd bounce up and be one of the best horses in the country, and vice versa. You get the one, I'm really high on this one, and he's not so good.
You always hear some of the drivers will tell you after, yeah, I picked off that one in its first baby race, and you don't see that on the chart line when you look back, but I'm sure there's been a few of those where you kind of afterwards go, man, I made the wrong choice.
Well, Mac Lobel for me was one. I raced him his first 8 starts, and then I took Sir Taurus in the Peter Houghton final. I thought he was better, and I guess he was.
Well,
but you make those mistakes, right? But I got the odd one that somebody else chose off of too, right? So it all works itself out, I think.
Absolutely, and that's the thing. One thing, it's nice to have choices, I guess, right?
Yeah.
That means you're in demand if you do have those opportunities. I look at what's coming up here in our second qualifier, and as you see on the screen throughout the morning, we'll have a chance to take a closer look at the starters, and you can see the sires, the dams. What stands out to me here is the one you just saw on your screen, number 5, Spoiled Beauty, Doug McNair for Greg McNair. This is a daughter of Captain Treacherous out of Precious Beauty, so this is a real deep family, one that's going to be very prominent in Saturday night's Pepsi North America Cup. So here is a sister to Sports Writer, a sister to Precocious Beauty, who's the dam of Tall Dark Stranger, as well as Prescient Beauty, who is the dam of Captain's Quarters. That's a pretty deep family.
It's unbelievable how that family, Sports Writer was the first one that we saw, I think, or that I noticed from that family. And since then, it's unbelievable how, a mare will have one filly, but she's got like 2 or 3 top ones that are they're just head and shoulders above everybody, that family, it seems like, right? And what we see now this morning, I don't know what's been the scoop on this one, but we're going to find out here pretty soon.
Yeah, we're looking forward to Kitten and I at this one, who will be making its debut. There's a look at the field on your screen, a field of 7 to line up. So let's meet the field here, and we'll give you the call of qualifier number 2 from the inside out. Number 1 is Shemar's Lady Lucy, a Dally filly. Tyler Jones for trainer Joe Pereira. Number 2 is Charlotte Station, Captain Treacherous filly. Luke Blade trains. Louis Waugh will drive. 3 will be My Wicked Heart, as James McDonald drives this one for the stable, a daughter of McWicked. Then number 4 is going to be Dear Abby. It's Bob McClure driving this daughter of Better Than Cheddar for Blake McIntosh. 5 is Spoiled Beauty, daughter of Captain Treacherous, trained by Greg McNair. Doug McNair drives. 6 is Dee. She's a daughter of Better's Delight, trained by Dr. Ian Moore. Trevor Henry is between the wheels. And number 7 is Night Dancer, a daughter of Dancin' Lou. Jody Jameson drives for trainer Craig Barr. So there is the field of 7 2-year-old pacing fillies. Our first contest on the pace here this morning, as the starting gate makes its way around the far turn. Starting gate making its way towards the top of the stretch. 2-year-old pacing fillies here. It's a field of 7. 3 of them all coming back for their second qualifiers. 4 making their debut. Gate moves into the stretch, picking up speed, and here they come. Off stride, number 2, Charlotte Station. And they're off and a pacing, and we're going to give the first call here to D, as that one is surging down the center of the track, going out to the early lead. Dear Abby gets away in second, as Spoiled Beauty is going to move up into third to get in front of My Wicked Heart in fourth. Getting away fifth is going to be Night Dancer as they'll come towards the first bend. That one is followed into turn 1 by Shemar's Lady Lucy, and then it's a couple lengths back to Charlotte Station, who looks to rebound after the miscue before the start. So Trevor Henry had D ready to go, and this one surges out to lead it by 2.5 lengths. The opening quarter was 31-4, and the pacing fillies will hit the backstretch. It's a loose leader here. D is out in front. The Better's Delight filly shows the way in this group of 7. Dear Abby is in second, tightening up right now, then followed in third by Spoiled Beauty. On that one's back is My Wicked Heart in fourth. About 3 lengths then going to Night Dancer, who is in fifth. Shemar's Lady Lucy is sixth and seventh, and about a dozen lengths off the lead, that is Charlotte Station. So nothing changes here in the second quarter, as D off a 31-4 opener comes up to the half in 101-4. So they picked it up there. 30 seconds even in the second split. And as the pacing fillies hit the far turn, the lead grows a little bit once again here for D, as the rival in the 2-hole got a bit closer, but is now 3 lengths away. That is Dear Abby in second. Then it's 3 more lengths going back to Spoiled Beauty, who is in third. Fourth remains My Wicked Heart. That one is tracked around the far turn by Night Dancer. On that one's helmet is Shemar's Lady Lucy, and then 2 lengths back to Charlotte Station. So D picked it up in the third quarter, hitting that marker in 1:30-2 to the top of the stretch. After a 28-3 third quarter, it is D out in front by about 6 lengths. Dear Abby on the outside is in second. Here comes Spoiled Beauty inside of that one, trying to move up into second and finish up strong. Then back to My Wicked Heart in fourth. To the others, it's about 3 or 4 more lengths, but here is D for Trevor Henry, and this daughter of Better's Delight is going to go all the way in her debut. She's going to win it by about 5. Spoiled Beauty looks good, finishing in second. Then third was Dear Abby, and through the line fourth was My Wicked Heart. 158-2 for D. All right, there is D, who takes qualifier number 2. Trevor Henry for Dr. Ian Moore, daughter of Better's Delight, and that is a real nice debut, as she wins it in 158-2 under no urging, just kicks home strongly in 28 seconds. Just a $17,000 yearling buy out of Harrisburg, and that's getting off to a good start, isn't it?
Well, Doc Moore has a canny knack of buying cheap horses and making regular horses out of them, right? So that's a testimonial to his ability as a trainer. He's done well for years and years with those type of horses. And it's pretty interesting that Mackenzie's, they name their horses all one name, which is good for you.
Yeah, it's really easy. 3 letters usually.
Yeah.
That's there's
yeah, exactly. So
pretty simple.
They've had lots of Ron and a whole bunch of them that are like that. But in Better's Delight, he's still he's arguably the greatest sire that ever lived, I think.
I think
right?
you can make that argument, no doubt about it.
And here and down under too, so he's still going.
He sure is, and he's got a nice looking filly there in D, 158-2 winner in qualifier number 2. We'll take another timeout, come back, and start to take a look at qualifier number 3.
Winback Farm of Canada's now home to Meadowlands Pace Champion Beach Glass.
Beach Glass wins the Cane Pace. Beach Glass.
Well, today it's Beach Glass.
And Beach Glass is going to get there. Beach Glass in front.
Beach Glass. The beach is back. Beach Glass.
New to Winback Farm of Canada in 2024. For more information, visit winbackfarm.com.
Sealster, a name synonymous with quality. From their picturesque farm in Lucan, Ontario, Sealster Farms has been producing champions for decades. Stars like $650,000 winner Poseidon Sealster, millionaire mares Karma and Kendall Sealster, and two-time O'Brien Award-winning Stockade Sealster. Sealster is also the home of many of Canada's top stallions, like Sunshine Beach, All Bets Off, and world champion superstar Bulldog Hanover, the sport's all-time fastest performer. Find your next champion at Sealster Farms. For more information, visit sealsterfarms.com.
And welcome back, everybody, to our Rookie Showcase Day number 2 here on Costa TV, live from Woodbine Mohawk Park. My name is Mark McKelvey. Pleased to be joined by Bill O'Donnell. Horses for the third are coming out onto the track, and there is a look at Long Legs, and this is a big ticket, one of the higher-priced yearlings we've seen so far in this 2-year-old season here at Woodbine Mohawk Park. $150,000 yearling purchase was this daughter of Green Manalishi. So from the first crop, Matt Bax is the trainer. He's also going to do the driving here today. This is a sister to OSS Gold winner Climb the Pole. She made nearly $300,000, but notably the dam. You don't want to overlook her. Legsy made $277,000. She a daughter of Amigo Hall. So some nice bloodlines here, and probably by the look of her as well, you can see why she commanded such big money as a yearling.
Right, for sure. Yeah, Climb the Pole. She was one of the top ones last year here in Ontario, and I think as a 2-year-old too, she was.
Yep.
She was okay, and well, they sold good. These Green Manalishis, they looked pretty darn good here last week. For a lot of them, there was a lot of them that made the races, so that's a good sign. And he was a great gaited horse, and they brought him to Kawartha last summer just and had him in a pen there just for everybody to see. And if you look at him, what a gorgeous horse he is. So, but the Muscle Hill, right? They kind of breed on.
They do, they do. And Green Manalishis, like we said, have made a sparkling debut so far. I know we haven't raced under the lights just yet with these 2-year-old trotters, but we saw another Green Manalishi take the first qualifier. Yeah. And coming out here, we saw just a couple of moments ago, number 2 is Exquisite Taste. Louis Waugh co-owns and drives this daughter of, this one is a Resolve, but I know Louis also got a Green Manalishi filly that he's been pretty high on. So I like getting that feedback, and I know, I mean, I'm sure you hear it through the winter and into the spring when trainers and drivers say, oh, I really like this one, or they're coming along real nice. Sometimes it shows right away. Other times it takes a little bit.
Well, like this one here, like you say, this is not the one that he was real high on, right?
Right.
So it's like I was saying before. Some of the ones that aren't trained good end up being the better ones and vice versa. And I'm not saying that's going to happen here, but this is a pretty darn good one. She trotted home 28-4 and then back in 28 flat there last week, right? So she's... and she's a Resolve. He's a pretty good sire. He never had a whole lot of babies,
right.
but he's pretty good from what he has. And Yankee Glide is a great broodmare sire, right? And a great sire in his own right.
Well, we'll stay on the Green Manalishi topic for just a second as Mona Lishi is on the screen. This obviously another daughter of Green Manalishi who qualified last Saturday morning if you tuned in and was a winner in 2:02.1, coming home in 29 seconds. I think last Saturday, you know, it was understandable. There was a bit of a wind. So here today, you would think a filly like this be ready to take it up another notch.
It was. I never realized how windy it was. I wasn't even noticing the flags until I walked to my car the other day and went, my goodness, it was a pretty good headwind. And these things, the last race came home in 27 in a piece. And I was inside most of the day. But right then I walked home 10 minutes later. That was a pretty good race, I think. And my pick is for the Ontario Sires was in that race, as a matter of fact.
Well, I'd say a final quarter, anything around 28 the other day, or even sub 28,
yeah.
was really, really good. And I know that's kind of how things seem to set up in these first few weeks of baby races, is a little slow to 3/4, and then everybody likes to sprint on home. And most of them kind of showing already that they can usually kick home for a pretty good piece.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you know, you don't want to. The worst thing you can do for a young horse is get them tired. Once they get tired, it just does something to their courage, and it's very, very hard to get it back. So you want them finishing strong. They kind of make them like their work. If they don't, they're not going to like the next level when they race at night, right?
Exactly, and I think this is kind of interesting, is if you track racing, not just here in Ontario, but then south of the border, I find that the Meadowlands, they seem to qualify them a little bit quicker right away. Is that just, do you think the trainers are trying to see what they got and kind of weed them out right away, or is it just kind of different styles? Because then you look, once we get to the Grand Circuit, our horses here do just as well on the Grand Circuit.
Yeah, just a different outlook at things, I guess. I mean, you know, it's keeping up with the Joneses kind of thing.
Maybe
right?
it's that, yeah.
And the track is faster there a little bit, not 3, 4, 5 seconds like some of them go, but yeah, I don't know. It just they race them a little bit different. I mean, I raced lots there, and they go over the half a little bit faster. If you were on the front and you backed the half down too much, you get a lot of grief from the other guys too, right? So I know when I was younger and you qualify and you go to the front and back it down, and if you won especially, the old guys go, how much you pay you for that? Nothing. So just get everybody qualified, right? That was the main initiative there. So I guess that maybe stands true.
I think it does, and we'll be starting to see the 2-year-old races picking up here very, very soon. I know they were on the sheet this week, and as more of them get qualified this weekend, I would imagine we'll see some 2-year-old races next week. The Sire Stakes gets underway in about early July. We were talking about it last Saturday, Greg and I, that the I think they say it's pronounced the Thompson Jeers Stakes for 2-year-olds is coming up here to Woodbine Mohawk Park this year at the end of June. Not going to be for everybody, because you got to have your 2-year-old ready to go, but for those that do have them ready to go, that's a nice little opportunity.
Well, I think, you know, Billy's thinking was to McClinchy, the GM here, or the vice president of racing, it's not a lot of money for it, and it's going to give our guys that are ready, and I think they'll probably call that the Ian Moore stake in a couple of years, right? Because his are always ready early, and I guess he'd make them eligible because it was made known to everybody early.
Yep.
So.
Yeah, announced earlier in the winter, and comes up, I think it's June 28th, June 29th is when we'll see those. It's a Thursday, Friday, so really that's not that far away. If you want to be in it, you got to get qualified. Probably making your debut this weekend and then go another trip next weekend, and you'll pretty much be set up, as the summer is going to really pick up here right away. And I know obviously the first big night of the season when it comes to the stakes is this Saturday night, but then it feels like there's probably a Sire Stake almost every night of the week, and there's really no downtime through the summer. You mentioned last night you were over at Grand River Raceway. They're off to a nice start to their season with the new 5/8 oval.
Absolutely, and the handle's showing it too. They had a good night last night, and opening night was big, and there was a lot of people there last night and stayed right till the not the bitter end, but to the end. It was early, which helps. You know, they start early, and racing is really good. And the track, I think the track is really good. You stand there in a nice cushion on it and stuff, and they've changed the material. And Greg Coons, you know, they were helpful in doing it, and it was really, really good. Good positive note for racing.
I know a lot of people who maybe don't venture over to Grand River all that often, or maybe they don't tune in. Definitely tune in for Industry Day when you have the Battle of Waterloo and the Battle of the Bells. I have to think with it being a 5/8 now, we're going to see a pretty healthy number of entrants for those stakes this year.
There was a lot of talk. People didn't go there because of the half-mile track, and you know, a lot of the Sire Stake races will be there, which will be good for the 2-year-old trotters that, you know, have to suffer most of them on a half-mile track. And, you know, a lot of horses can race on a half and go to a 5/8 or 3 or a mile track. The other way is tough. I remember Jack Copus used to train his on the half-mile track, and I asked him why. He said they can all go a mile track. So he's right. So.
Yeah, that's right. It's probably easier to go up than rather to go down. All right, we're getting set for qualifier number 3 as the gate's beginning to roll. 2-year-old trotting fillies here, so let's take a moment to meet the field. Number 1 is Magic 6, a daughter of Six Pack. Gary Lance trains. Trevor Henry will drive. 2 is Exquisite Taste. This daughter of Resolve is trained by Eric Nadeau. The driver is Louis-Philippe Waugh. Number 3 is Mona Lishi, a Green Man Alishi filly. filly. Jody Jameson for Blake McIntosh. 4 is Miss Kiersey. This is a muscle mass filly trained by Rod Hughes. It'll be Bob McClure doing the driving. Next up then, that is going to be number 5, Royal Sauce. Doug McNair drives for his father, Greg McNair, daughter of Muscle Mass. 6 is Long Legs, Green Manalishi filly, trained and driven by Matt Bax. And then 7 on the outside is Dartford. This is another Matt Bax trainee. I think it looks like Todd Ratchford's doing the driving. Green Manalishi filly, number 7, Dartford. So here we go, qualifier number 3, and actually that's James McDonald driving number 7, Dartford. Thanks to producer Curtis in the truck. And we're getting set to go as the starting gate will come to the top of the stretch here for qualifier number 3. And they're off and trotting, and a break there at the beginning for number 6, Long Legs. From the inside, Magic 6 gets off to a nice start. Getting away in second is Mona Lishi. Then following in behind will be Miss Kiersey to get away in third. On the outside now, Dartford actually comes forward as this one gets into the upper half. Then we go to Royal Sauce, and then back to the breaker, Long Legs, who jumped it off at the word go. Into the first turn, Magic 6, a daughter of Six Pack. She leads it by a length and a half as Mona Lishi is able to sit there in second to the opening panel, which was recorded in 31 seconds even. And as they exit the first turn, Magic 6 fronts this field. This is the second qualifier for Magic 6. Last week raced at the back in 6th, and this time is going to chop things out, at least for the time being. Mona Lishi is getting the ride in second, then tightening up in third is Miss Kiersey. On that one's back is Dartford in fourth, then closing the gap in fifth is Royal Sauce, and Long Legs comes back into the mix after the break at the beginning. So there's about 8 or 9 lengths separating them from front to back as they go by the midway point in 1:02. So that was another panel in 31 seconds. It is Magic 6 who leads it by a pair. Mona Lishi is in second. Miss Kiersey races in third. Fourth is Dartford, and that one looks maybe ready to go on. Here is a move out of second now as Mona Lishi isn't going to sit in the deuce any longer and will look to loop around as they come to 3/4. So Mona Lishi with a couple of nice strides marches up to the lead. Magic 6 is now back in second. Third remains Miss Kiersey. Then Dartford in fourth, back to Royal Sauce, and Long Legs. 3/4 was 1:31 and 3. They went a third quarter in 29 and 3. A little bit quicker for our new leader, Mona Lishi, who moved right to the front and now comes down the lane, leading it by 4, stretching that lead out to 5 with 1/8 of a mile to go. Magic 6 is in second. Dartford is now moved up into third from Miss Kiersey. Royal Sauce and Long Legs will look to finish up well on the outside. This one's over. Mona Lishi's going to get another baby race score. Mona Lishi will take this one by close to 10, finishing in a second. That's going to be Magic 6, and then it was Dartford in third. The time of the mile was 2 minutes flat. All right, qualifier number 3, and once again, it's another Green Manalishi, and we talked about this one as they were coming onto the track. Mona Lishi for trainer Blake McIntosh, 2:02 and 1 last week, and here today drops a couple of seconds, winning in 2 minutes flat.
Yeah, she looked very, very good again. Even the ones that were second, third, and fourth there, they even though they didn't trot in 2 minutes, but they tried a 2-1 apiece, so that's pretty darn good too, right?
Yeah, it looked like good final quarter speed from a few of them. And even that big ticket we talked about, Long Legs, $150,000 yearling. She makes a break at the start, but, you know, she does regain her stride, gets up to them, and looked like she trotted a good final quarter. So it'll just be back to the drawing board a bit. But, again, you're not going to read too much into those first times here behind the gate.
Not at all. Those 2-year-old fillies, the speed they're going, I wonder they're not all running really, but they go pretty darn good.
All right, so it is Mona Lishi, who is now 2 for 2 in baby race action. That daughter of Green Manalishi, Jody Jameson for trainer Blake McIntosh, wins it in 2 minutes flat. We'll take another timeout and come back as we'll turn our focus to qualifier number 4.
Harness Racing Update is the sport's most comprehensive and timely news source. HRU covers the sport from all angles with news, features, photography, opinion, and analysis of racing. Also, HRU covers breeding and sales, as well as industry stories you need to know. It's all delivered by a deep, diverse, and talented team of writers and photographers. And the best news is that it's free to subscribe. Subscribe to HRU today for free at harnessracingupdate.com and see what everyone is talking about.
Love horse racing? HPIBet.com is Canada's leader in online horse betting. Access thousands of live races from hundreds of tracks worldwide instantly. Enjoy the most advanced betting tools like AI Smart Picks and exclusive cashback rewards you won't get anywhere else. Join today and get up to $100 in free bets. Get the betting experience with HPIBet.com.
And welcome back, everybody, to Costa TV's coverage of the baby races today from Woodbine Mohawk Park. Rookie Showcase continues. Day number 2. We're back at it tomorrow. Taking a look here, as we talked about Long Legs, $150,000 yearling who just raced in qualifier number 2. Let's take a look at the big tickets here this morning. We already saw Charlotte Station in the second qualifier. That one also made a break at the start. So again, these are horses with some terrific pedigree, and you can see why they commanded such big money at the yearling sales. And again, it'll just be back to the drawing board. You're certainly not going to write those ones off because they're filled with potential. The other two that we'll keep a close eye on that were 6 figures at the yearling sales last fall. Film at 11. That one goes for Team Backs in qualifier number 7. We already saw that one last week, so it'll be the second outing. And then Nike in qualifier number 8. That is a Bettor's Delight filly that is trained by Dr. Rita Moore and brought $100,000 as a yearling. So we get a look at the horses coming out of the paddock, as next up will be qualifier number 4. And Bill, I think it's kind of fun to look at the bloodlines as we go through these baby races and just kind of look at the pedigree pages, and you find horses, I guess in every family there's going to be something that stands out, but usually just kind of gives you a nice little trip down memory lane, I find.
Well, yeah, exactly, but you look them all up. Great, track it is great for that kind of stuff, right? I spent a lot of time on it. Just inquisitive, and you go, where did this one come from? And you look back, and sometimes you'll have to look back 4 or 5 generations to say there's a world champion there, or maybe 2, maybe 3, but it's inevitable that there's something in that family somewhere for whatever reason that horse got the gene, right?
Yep. Absolutely. Here's a look at the horses. It's serial pacing fillies in qualifier number 4. I like when they all kind of come out as a group as we get a good look at them. We're starting with number 4, Girl Swag for Team Jameson. As you can see on the screen there a moment ago, this one is owned by Jody Jameson's son, Jet Jameson. So the all in the family here, as this one's going to qualify for the second time. And Jody actually took Girl Swag over to Grand River to baby race for the first time. And I think we'll probably see a little bit more of that now with it being the 5/8 track, as we talked about.
It would be my choice if I had colts to take them. The old saying is, keep your horses in the worst company and yourself in the best.
There you go.
That's you take them over there, and it's probably a little easier on them. And for a start or two, you get their legs under them, and then they're good to go with the big boys if they can go with them.
Makes sense, and that one went on June 5th at Grand River, finishing second in 2 minutes and a fifth, home in 29-4. And now Jody's going to bring this daughter of Bettor's Delight over here to Woodbine Mohawk Park to race in a field of 7 here today. There's a look at number 5, Lady Cafe Olay, a big Jim filly. Trevor Henry will drive, and again another one that's qualified once before, not here though, as Victor Putty now brings this one in from Rito.
Yeah, I think Vic sends his 2-year-olds over there, I think, for the winter. I'm not sure one way or the other, but he likes to start them over there. Going back to that Tompkins Gears.
Yep.
I see Carl James, and he's always ready early and ready to go. It'll be called the Jameson Moore Tompkins Gears in a couple of years, I think. But they train in Florida, and that's a little bit of it's not an edge, but you're ready a little bit earlier. And us old northern guys, we catch up later on, I guess, maybe. But
it all evens out, although I'd have to think too, when you come back from Florida, depending the winter and the weather maybe here, it probably takes a little bit even to adjust for the horses once they do come back here.
Yeah, it does. I think from when I raced in New England, a lot of guys went to Florida, and a lot of guys went to the Carolinas. The horse that came from the Carolinas seemed to adjust quicker. The weather's a little more, comparable to our northern weather, I think. But anyway, they all seem to survive after a couple of weeks. It's a long ship from Florida too. Like you're looking at 20 hours or so, right? So
yep, there's a look There's look at number 6, Perfectly Chic, a better than Cheddar filly, a $12,000 yearling. John Pentland trains. Bob McClure is going to drive. This will be the first qualifier for this daughter of Better Than Cheddar. And we kind of got a bit of a mix in this group, as it looks like. Just quick glance here. 3 of them qualified already, so you got 4 making their debuts. You probably give a leg up when it comes to the ones that have already qualified, in the sense that you expect them maybe to do a little bit more of the road work.
Depends on a lot of things, right? I mean, if a guy like John Pentland, he's got a number of colts, and they train in sets and stuff, so they got some experience too. It's just more behind the gate probably, and but John, he has these guys when they bring them here. There's so much more developed than in my day when you trained 2 together and you didn't race a whole lot until the last maybe 3-4 works. These horses train in sets all winter and they're ready to go, but I don't know if there'll be that much of an edge, but maybe.
Right, and then as well, you got to remember too, I know on Wednesday mornings whenever I pop by here, the last month or so, it's been pretty busy on those training days as trainers are getting in with their babies and just trying to get that experience here before they do come into baby race.
Yeah, about a month before, it seems like they bring them in 4, 5, 6 times, and the first time you bring them here, they're kind of lost. Everything's brand new, and it's a big track, and I know with mine, the one that I train 2-year-olds, you bring them in here, or 3-year-olds, just come in and go easy with them the first time, and the next time they were familiar with everything, and they just like they were racing, right?
Absolutely. All right, we're getting set for qualifier number 4 now. 2-year-old pacing fillies are in behind the gate. Let's meet the field. Number 1 is Elize We Tell, daughter of Better's Delight, Mario Bayarjan for Ben Bayarjan. Number 2 is Odds on Fiat Money. Better's Delight filly, Dr. Ian Moore trains. The driver is Sylvain Filion. 3 is Wicked and Single, a McWicked filly trained by Tony Beaton with James McDonald. Number 4, Girl Swag, Jody Jameson for Carl Jameson, a daughter of Better's Delight. 5 is Lady Cafe Olay, a Big Jim filly trained by Victor Putty with Trevor Henry. 6 is Perfectly Chic, a Better Than Cheddar filly trained by John Pentland with Bob McClure. And 7 is Sayonara Sealster. Tyler Jones drives for trainer Joe Pereira. That's a daughter of Better's Delight. And the Rothan pacing here in qualifier number 4, and Girl Swag gets off the wings beautifully as that one marches out to the early lead. Odds on Fiat Money gets away in second, while the rail starter, the Lies We Tell, will hold ground in third. The others get set to line up as we go to Wicked and Single, who gets away in fourth. That one to be followed into the first turn by Lady Cafe Olay, then to Perfectly Chic and Sayonara Sealster. The field of 7 hits the first turn. Girl Swag and Jody Jameson, a Better's Delight filly, she gets to show the way. So she's going to cut out an opening quarter of 31-3. It is Girl Swag on the front by a length and a half, but followed very closely here by the first timer, Odds on Fiat Money. That Better's Delight filly is going to move around now, so as they straighten out into the backstretch, here comes the lead change as Odds on Fiat Money will now move to the lead. Some trouble there back in third, it looked like, for number 1, the Lies We Tell, as others are moving around. So into third now goes Wicked and Single. Also advancing is Perfectly Chic into fourth, to be followed by Lady Cafe Olay. Then it's the Lies We Tell, who's now second from last, and the trailer is Sayonara Sealster. The half was 101-2. It's Odds on Fiat Money and Sylvain Filion. They're out on the lead, and the lead is currently 2 lengths as Girl Swag will look to track around the far turn. Wicked and Single is getting a bit closer now, as that one's just 3 lengths off the lead in third. Then in fourth is Perfectly Chic. Back to Lady Cafe Olay, who is in fifth. The Lies We Tell, Sayonara Sealster rounds things out. So they get pretty tight here towards 3/4, as in third there, Wicked and Single looks ready to go on, was all over the back of Girl Swag. 3/4 was 130-3. The leader, Odds on Fiat Money, comes into the stretch, leading it by a length and a half. Girl Swag stays in behind. Wicked and Single now moves to the outside. Then it is Perfectly Chic in fourth. The sprint is on with less than 1/8 of a mile to go. Trying to hold on is Odds on Fiat Money, but Wicked and Single is rushing up on the outside. Odds on Fiat Money digs in at the inside. Wicked and Single going to get up to take it. Odds on Fiat Money was second. Then it was Perfectly Chic finishing in third, ahead of Girl Swag in fourth, 158-4. So there's a look at Wicked and Single. James McDonald for trainer Tony Beaton, a McWicked filly that wins it in 158-4. 28-1 was the race final quarter. It's probably going to be about 27-2 for that winner. And as they were going to 3 quarters, you could see James was all over the back of Girl Swag. That one was ready to go on, but he kept it in behind until there was about an eighth of a mile to go, and then that one rushes up to get by Odds on Fiat Money. As the fillies look pretty good there, those ones up front were certainly doing some stepping on the way home.
Yeah, that was one that came from a big operation. Tony's got a lot of horses, the colts, and first timer. Probably the only difference between then and now was she's got a charted line.
Yeah.
Right? So at least she's got a big smile on her face over there. She's the owner. Did you steal that one from Tony? I see Tony was a breeder. Now you're the owner.
Double thumbs up. Have to like what they saw there from Wicked and Single in the debut, 158-4. All right, we'll take another timeout. Qualifier number 5 is coming up next here as the Rookie Showcase continues on COSA TV.
The London Classic Yearling Sale, Canada's premier standardbred auction, returns October 15th and 16th to the Western Fair District Agriplex. Recent London sales standouts include O'Brien Award winners and millionaire performers, Logan Park, Fashion Frenzy, and Stockade Sealster. Leading North American consigners and yearlings by the sport's top sires, all under one roof in a world-class facility. Find your next champion at the London Classic Yearling Sale. Find out more by visiting londonclassic.ca.
Winback Farm of Canada is home to 9 exceptional stallions, including Beach Glass, the last great son of legendary sire of sires, Some Beach Somewhere. Also new in 2024, Lawless Shadow, an O'Brien Award winner for 2-year-old pacing colts and geldings. Double millionaire betting line, sire of 5 winners of over $400,000. McWicked, the richest pacing stallion in harness racing history and Hall of Fame inductee. Trixton, sire of 6 who have earned over $500,000, including O'Brien Award winner Evident Beauty. Also standing Archangel, Better Than Cheddar, Better's Delight, and My MVP. For more information, winbackfarm.com.
And we're back on COSA TV as the Rookie Showcase continues. Qualifier 5 is coming up next. After this 5th qualifier, we will then take about a 20-minute intermission before we resume with qualifiers 6 through 10. There's a look at number 1, Sister Sarah, who's going to come out. Another filly that we've already seen before. We saw this one last week, finished second in 2:02 and 2. Trainer Blake McIntosh was busy last Saturday morning, and now I guess with things split up between the fillies today and then what'll be the colts tomorrow, maybe it takes a little bit of a weight off that operation, but trying to get these horses qualified and get them ready to go. A Green Manalishi filly. Here's a look at 6, Tricks Serve. Matt Bax is going to do the driving for his own student here. This is a Trixton filly the first time out. I think we're going to take a closer look at the back stable, who are pretty active here this morning. And that's not a surprise. They do so well just up the road as well, which must be nice for them to have the operation so close to Mohawk here.
Oh, yeah, they're only 10 minutes from here. They come over, I'm sure, often. Yeah, the Bax operation is the old Ontario farm just down the street here. It's only probably a 10-minute ride with the truck and trailer. So they're here quite often, I think, or often as they can be here anyway, whenever the training days are on. And they do good no matter where they are. They were in Kawartha. They just did good from there for years, and they're still on a roll now. John's kind of passed the baton on to his son Matt, who was doing a great job again too. It's just like his dad did. So yeah, they're pretty happy with being here and coming over here to train, I think.
I would have to think so. You mentioned it as well. I know those Wednesday mornings, lots of Bax horses were coming in to train over the last several weeks. There's a look at the numbers from last year for the Bax stable, $1.7 million in earnings. They have 8 in this morning, including a couple that we've already talked about as well. They've got a nice group of horses coming back at age 3. Winning Alliance is a nice filly that they've been racing in the New York Sire Stakes now after she was cleaning up here, and they've been using Todd Ratchford driving that filly, and Todd's a young driver who's really just getting started, but he's working for the back stable as well. So talk about getting some great hands-on experience, not just in the barn, but also getting a chance to drive some nice horses.
Well, I go way, way back with Todd's grandfather. And his great-grandfather actually gave me a liniment years ago for a horse that I had, and I used on him, sounded him up, and he raced for years. But he was pretty well known around the Maritimes. And Gussie, Augustine, is his grandfather. Racing horses was kind of a part-time, full-time thing in Nova Scotia where you couldn't make a lot of money. So one winter, Gussie and I sold pots and pans and Bibles around door to door. So we go way back when I was young and he was young. So it's good to see Todd, and I know his grandfather would be awfully proud of him if he was here, because Gussie, one time, we raced 6 horses at Sackville, he and I, with 2 sets of hobbles, all pacers. We were busy.
You guys must have been sweating by the end of that day.
Yeah, and he won. He had a record, Gussie. He won the last 2 races one night and the first 6 races the next day at Sackville Down. So it's a record that you had to be there to see.
Yeah.
It's not anything that they're going to put you in the Hall of Fame for, but it was pretty cool.
No doubt about it. You wouldn't forget that one. So we're getting a look at a few more of the fillies ahead of this 5th qualifier. There's a look at number 3. That is Beers Sunshine Dale. And they're already lining up, so we might as well meet the field here for qualifier number 5, as we're not wasting any time. We're back over to the trot. Number 1 is Sister Sarah. This Green Manalishi filly is trained by Blake McIntosh. It's Sylvain Filion driving. Number 2 is Core Resolve. Todd Ratchford for Matt Bax, daughter of Resolve. 3, Beers and Sunshine Deo, a 6-pack filly trained by Susie Kerwood with Chris Christoforou. Number 4 is Stovid, a wheelin' and dealin' filly trained by Greg McNair. Doug McNair drives. Then number 5 is Bright Green Manalishi filly trained by Eric Nadeau. Louis Waugh to drive. 6, Trick Serve. That's going to be Matt Bax training and driving, this daughter of Trixton. And 7 is Marie H. My MVP filly, Kyle Boston, trains. The driver is Trevor Henry. So there are the horses lining up for our 5th qualifier. Reminder, we'll take a 20-minute intermission following qualifier number 5, as the 2-year-old trotting fillies make their way around the far turn. Starting gate to the top of the stretch. 2-year-old trotting fillies. A field of 7 is assembled. Here they come for qualifier number 5. And they're off and trotting. A pretty even beginning here as a few of them start to push forward, including Trick Serve along with Bright Green down the center. At the rail, Sister Sarah had a nice beginning, and here comes Stovid in between horses. So they're 4 across in the early going, while Core Resolve watches from in 5th. Beers and Sunshine Deo will take back to 6th, and from the outside, Marie H will just duck to the back. That one will sit 7th as they hit the first turn. So Louis Waugh got Bright Green out to the lead. Looks like Trick Serve is going to come around here for Matt Bax. That one wasn't going to have a seat anywhere but up on the lead, and will make its way to the top. Clears there at an opening quarter of 32-4. So not a rush in that opening panel, and now Trick Serve is on the lead, and this daughter of Trixton leads it by a pair. In 2nd is Bright Green, then in 3rd is Sister Sarah, followed in 4th by Stovid. Then it's about 5 lengths or so back to Core Resolve. Moving from the back, Marie H. That one is going by a couple of rivals and has moved up. The trailer now is Beers and Sunshine Deo. We get a lead change here, is already moving to the lead with Sister Sarah. That was just before making a break was the early leader, Trick Serve. That one went off stride before the half. 1:03.3 was the half-mile clocking. Sister Sarah moved to the top and is clear by about 5 or 6 lengths. In 2nd is Bright Green. Then in 3rd is Stovid. 4th, as they go around the far turn, is Marie H. Back to Core Resolve, who was followed by Beers and Sunshine Deo. And back on stride is Trick Serve, who made a break going to the half. Sister Sarah still clear by nearly 5. In 2nd is Bright Green. On the outside, Marie H. is making another move. To that one's left is Stovid. 3/4 was 1:32.3. And as they swing into the stretch, the leader here is Sister Sarah. Bright Green in 2nd. On the outside is Marie H. Then inside 4th is Stovid. Nothing else changing right now up front, as it's still a clear lead for Sister Sarah. Bright Green, though, is doing some good trotting and making up some ground late. They're coming to the edge of the tote board. Sister Sarah's nearly home. Bright Green's going to make it very close. Sister Sarah and Bright Green. Sister Sarah by ahead. Bright Green was 2nd. Marie H. was 3rd. And 4th was Stovid. 2:02.2. So 202 and 2 for Sister Sarah, who moved to the lead in the second quarter. But bright green, this was the Green Manalishi filly we've been talking about the last couple of weekends for Louis Waugh, and that one certainly got it into gear, coming up just short, but trotting a good final quarter.
She was really trotting at the end, wasn't she? Sister Sarah, like you said, she did a lot of the work, but she looked very, very strong too. It's the Green Manalishi. He's sure making his mark here in the first few weeks, anyway, right?
Yeah,
Time will tell.
Three winners already this morning. Every trot qualifier has been a Green Manalishi.
Yeah, especially the fillies, right? Last week was the same way, right? The fillies. John, who ran and owned Hanover Shoe Farm years ago, when Big Towner was getting ready to sell them overseas, and we had a mare called Rodine Hanover. She was a very good filly, and he called me one time and he said, "What about that filly? You think she's a great filly?" And I said, "I do, right now." And he said, "Well," he said, "I was going to sell. I had a deal in the works to sell Big Towner to New Zealand or Australia." And he said, "But you know, my theory is if they have a good filly, within the first 5 years they'll be a good sire." And that was the first one he'd had, and he kept him, and what a sire he was after that, right? Took him a few years to get going, but he did a great job in this industry for years, especially in Canada. The Canadian guys used to go to sale. They loved them. I think for a lot of reasons. One was economically. They were a little bit cheaper than the no-nuxes and the breeds, you know, albatrosses and stuff like that. But they come up here, and they did a great job up here.
Well, Bill, we appreciate you taking some time here this morning to join us. We've got 5 down, so I know you're a busy man. We'll let you get back to everything you got to do here today.
Busy sunbathing today.
I was going to say it's a little warm on the back, but a beautiful morning. I don't think we would trade that. No. Maybe I don't want to put you on the spot because there's a few people standing around, but do you got a pick for the North America Cup on Saturday?
Well, you know, I think Nijinsky, just because he's so handy, and he's had 3 tough races, I know, in a row, and it was last week it looked like maybe he was going to get beat, and then maybe he was just kind of coasting, but when Louis asked him to go again at the wire, he picked it up again. So it's going to be interesting, but it all depends on who gets the trip. Good luck to all of them.
Absolutely. It's going to be a lot of fun. Bill, enjoy the rest of the day and the weekend. Thanks so much for doing this. We'll take another time out as we hit our intermission. Still 5 more qualifiers to go on this Thursday morning as you're watching the Rookie Showcase on Costa TV.
For over 25 years, Tara Hill Stud has worked with partners to help produce champion stallions. We are proud to have bred great racehorses like Fade Out, Shower Play, Precious Delight, and There's a Demon in Me. Our stallions, past and present, have had tremendous success, making a huge impact on racing across North America. Tara Hill Stud, where champions stand and champion yearlings are raised. Log on to TaraHills.com.
Sealster, a name synonymous with quality. From their picturesque farm in Lucan, Ontario, Sealster Farms has been producing champions for decades. Stars like $650,000 winner Poseidon Sealster, millionaire mares Karma and Kendall Sealster, and 2-time O'Brien Award-winning Stockade Sealster. Sealster is also the home of many of Canada's top stallions, like Sunshine Beach, All Bets Off, and world champion superstar Bulldog Hanover, the sport's all-time fastest performer. Find your next champion at Sealster Farms. For more information, visit sealsterfarms.com.
All right, and welcome back to Costa TV as we're getting set to resume with today's two-year-old qualifiers. It's all fillies in the spotlight on this Thursday morning. Tomorrow will be the Colts and Geldings. Typically it'd be myself and Greg Blanchard on the desk. Greg is out on assignment. I'm not going to say he's at the beach. I'm just kidding, but somebody said that to me already. Figured he was trying to work on his tan for this weekend. But with me in the saddle now is Tony Elliott, a marketing manager here at Woodbine Mohawk Park, but very familiar to racing fans across Ontario from some of your other gigs at various tracks across the province, the Raceway at Western Fair. We were there a couple weeks ago for the Camelot Classic. That was a fun evening, and another fun evening coming up this Saturday is the Pepsi North America Cup. Tony, how much are you looking forward to the big card on Saturday?
I don't think I could be looking forward to it any more than I am. I think it's the biggest night of the year here at Woodbine Mohawk Park, and I'm certainly excited for it. Like we chatted off air earlier this morning, we're not getting a lot of sleep this week just in preparation for the big night, so I don't think there'll be much more sleep happening before Saturday.
It's a busy week here at Woodbine Mohawk Park, not just with the big card coming up on Saturday night, but of course with all the baby races, and see some of the decorations, the bunting that's been put up around the paddock here already in preparation for coming up on a Saturday night. It is the North America Cup. We had the post draw on Tuesday evening. Bill O'Donnell was just here, so I'll ask you the same question I asked him, but I'll save it till the end of the show. So just so you have a little time to think about it, I'll want to know who is your pick for the North America Cup. But when you look at the card, with all those stake races that are filled, is there one other than the North America Cup that you're really looking forward to?
I think the Van Hanover is always one that I look forward to on that card. Obviously, 2 races before the North American Cup, the card really starts heating up, obviously with 5 major stakes in the card and the Gold Cup. You just can't turn your head away from the TV if you're watching from home, or obviously if you're on track, your eyes are glued to the track. But I think the Van Hanover is probably the one I'm most looking forward to besides the Pepsi North American Cup.
All right, well, we'll turn our focus now to the two-year-old pacing fillies here in qualifier number 6. We take a break from the trotters. So far, the show this morning has been the Green Manalishi show for the trotters, so we'll wait for that when the trotters do come back out onto the track a little later on. But here in the 6, two-year-old pacing fillies, and in this group of 7 is number 7, Barb Leahy from the outside. Louis Waugh will drive for Michael Kwitnowski. There's a look at the 6. Things a Man Ought to Know. This filly here is a daughter of Courtly Choice, Blake McIntosh. I can see him sitting there on the step here, busy again, and his barn looked like last Saturday really had them ready to go.
Yeah, he certainly did. I think there was 21 out of 25 hit the top 3, so I don't think they could have been much more ready for last week, and obviously a bunch of them are looking to take another step forward here today.
There's a look at the 5, Sarah B. Delight, another one that is qualifying for a second time. Actually, the only filly in this group that's going to be qualifying for the second time. Everybody else is making their debut, and last week was a pretty even qualifier, sat 4th or 5th throughout. Came home in 29 seconds flat, but so well bred is this daughter of Better's Delight out of Voles, Hanover, so some deep pedigree there. There's a look at the 7, Barb Leahy. Also kind of looking through this field, you look at the stallions that are represented, and I think by just taking a quick glance here, if my counting is right, other than a couple of McWickeds, you've got 6 different stallions, so it's pretty deep here on the pacing side in Ontario.
Yeah, it certainly has been added to in the last few years. Obviously, Bulldog Hanover has shown up on the scene. First crop was selling this fall, obviously in London and some of the various sales across North America. But the depth of the stallions here in Ontario, I think, probably is close to the best it's ever been.
All right, so the starting gate is beginning to roll. Let's meet the field for qualifier number 6. Two-year-old pacing fillies are lining up. We'll start first with number 1, a Sauble Amelia, a Believe in Bruiser filly, trained by Otis Hall. The driver is Bob McClure. Number 2, Filly Sealster. She's a daughter of State Treasurer. Doc Moore trains. The driver is Sylvan Filion. 3 is Stone Sawyer, McWicked filly, trained by Tony Beaton. The driver is James McDonald. Number 4 is Century Liberty, a McWicked filly, trained by Joe Pereira. Tyler Jones is in the bike. 5 is Sarah B. Delight, Better's Delight filly, trained by Ben Bayarjan with Mario Bayarjan at the lines. Number 6 is Things a Man Ought to Know. Tyler Borth drives this daughter of Courtly Choice for trainer Blake McIntosh. And number 7 is Barb Leahy, a Big Jim filly, trained by Michael Kwitnowski. The driver is Louis Waugh. So there you go. It's a field of 7 for qualifier number 6 as our rookie showcase resumes here, the 6th of 10 on this Thursday morning. Big shout out to all of our sponsors. You saw them scrolling on the screen throughout the intermission. This broadcast would not be possible without their support, so we really appreciate it, and we'll give them a special shout out a little bit later on. Starting gate comes off the turn and into the stretch. Qualifier number 6, 2-year-old Pacing fillies. Here they come. And they're off and pacing. Filly Sealster comes off the wings nicely from post 2. Down the center of the track, Sarah B. Delight is shooting out and quickly goes out to the lead. Century Liberty gets away in 3rd. The outside starter, Barb Leahy, is able to leave into mid-pack as that one crosses over into 4th. Sabal Amelia gets away in 5th as Stone Sawyer is spotted in 6th. And our early trailer is number 6. That's Things a Man Ought to Know. Around the first turn, and it's Sarah B. Delight put on the front this week, as this is the lone starter in this group that does have qualifying experience. She puts up an opening quarter of 31 seconds flat. It's Sarah B. Delight leading it by 2. Filly Sealster is racing in 2nd. On that one's back is Century Liberty in 3rd. 4th into the backstretch is Barb Leahy. Tightening up in 5th is Sabal Amelia. 4 lengths going back to Stone Sawyer, who is 6th. And 7th up the backside is Things a Man Ought to Know. That'll round out the group of 7 as they come to the midway point. Sarah B. Delight on that loose lead. It actually grows a bit now because off stride in 2nd went Filly Sealster. Filly Sealster made a break while racing 2nd at the half. The half was hit in 1:01 flat. That was a 2nd quarter paced in 30 seconds even. A 2nd quicker than that opening split. It is Sarah B. Delight all alone on the lead by 5. 2nd is Century Liberty. At the inside 3rd is Barb Leahy. Filly Sealster made that break, resets though, and now rides on the outside in 4th. 5th is Sabal Amelia, and then our final pair remains Stone Sawyer and Things a Man Ought to Know to 3/4. And Sarah B. Delight leads it by 4.5 lengths at that station in 1:30 and 3, 29 and 3, the quickest split to this point. And as they straighten out into the stretch, Sarah B. Delight is trying to go all the way. Century Liberty is at the inside in 2nd. Barb Leahy will look to come up the cones. Filly Sealster's recovered, and that one's on the outside now trying to get back into 2nd spot as they're all converging in now on Sarah B. Delight. Riding the rail is Barb Leahy, and that one in some tight quarters up the inside trying to get through, trying to straighten things out. Barb Leahy from Sarah B. Delight and Filly Sealster. Barb Leahy up the cones to take it. Sarah B. Delight was 2nd. Filly Sealster was 3rd. Century Liberty 4th, and Sabal Amelia 5th. 2 minutes and 3/5. All right, Barb Leahy up the inside takes qualifier number 6 as Louis Waugh just stays to the rail to take it with this daughter of Big Jim, a London Classic yearling sale graduate. And nice look on that filly. I mean, like I said, Louis Waugh moving up an inside spot where wasn't the widest of pass, and this filly was able to come through. And if you straighten her out, she's going to look like she's got a lot to offer.
Yeah, it certainly does. It's certainly impressive how they can come up the inside like that. First qualifier off of a bunch of training miles, and obviously they school them before they come in for these qualifiers. But generally, they sometimes are a little nervous when they come up the inside lane there. But there was no hesitation there. She got straightened out and she finished the mile strong.
This one is owned by Arthur Ray and Michael Kwitnowski. Obviously, these connections have had a lot of fun in recent years with their free-for-aller that was an O'Brien Award nominee, that being Emmett's Buddy.
Yeah, he's been a huge success for their barn, and every week button heads with the top in the sport here in Canada, and you just dream of getting a horse like that, and they certainly deserve it.
And Emmett's Buddy will be in action on Saturday night. That one will race in the opener, race number 1, the preferred pace. So looking forward to seeing how he'll perform on the NA Cup undercard. But Barb Leahy, the London Classic graduate, a $23,000 yearling, wins the debut, 2 minutes and 3/5 here in qualifier number 6. So no need to take a quick break right now because the horses are already coming out of the paddock for qualifier number 7 as we'll switch back over to the trot. And Tony, you're joining us here for the second half of the action. We had Bill O'Donnell here for the first 5 qualifiers, and we were just remarking, and it's probably sounds like a broken record already, talking about the Green Man Alishis and what they've brought to the table. They're 3 for 3 this morning in the trot qualifiers. Guess what? They won't take this one because there are no Green Man Alishis in qualifier number 7. So we'll get a little break from that first crop stallion and see who else can get a winner here this morning. Number 6, Film at 11, is one we just saw stepping out of the paddock. And a few moments ago, that one was a big ticket yearling. So we'll talk about her in a little bit. But right now, just kind of want to get your thoughts as you take a look at this group. Anything jump off the page to you?
Yeah, I think the 5 certainly jumps off for me. JS She's Real Special comes from the family of I'm Extra Special, the I'm Special, Dam, this horse looks like it's got the pedigree to be a good horse. It's full sister I'm Extra Special made just under 500,000. Jesse Geppert has decided to hang on to this filly and race her with Greg McNair, which is obviously a compliment to the full sister, but they think it's worth hanging on to versus what they generally do is sell them in the yearling sales.
Yeah, and you mentioned about the pedigree page on this one. Probably could have brought a nice little buck at the yearling sale, but why not enjoy the ride and see how this one performs? And Muscle Mass, again, Green Manalishi's probably going to give him a little run here in this 2-year-old group this year, but Muscle Mass has been one of the top stallions here and just continues to show up every season.
Yeah, and I think they're looking to probably add to their broodmare band with this one. They've sold the first 2 fillies out of this mare, and they've went on to make the first one made just under 200,000. Obviously, I mentioned I'm Extra Special made just under 500. So they're looking at this first full sister that they've hang on to. So certainly looking to add to the broodmare band, I would imagine.
Absolutely, and you talk about Muscle Mass and some of the top performers over the year for that great stallion. 6-pack, plunge blue chip. Adair Castle, who will be racing Saturday night in the Armbro Flight Final. She is the 3rd highest earner all time, just behind 6-pack and plunge blue chip. That was when Muscle Mass was here in Ontario. She's one of the big success stories from the OSS program, and we'll see if another filly from Muscle Mass can I'm not going to say live up to those expectations because those are some big shoes to fill, but there certainly always is some nice muscle mass on the track. Here's a look at number 2, Points in the Paint. We talked about the back stable having a busy morning. This is going to be the 2nd qualifier for this daughter of bar hopping, who is a homebred for Al Libfeld out of the Andover Hall mare Paint the Corners, and Matt Bax will do the driving here today himself, and that's because he's going to leave James McDonald on the 6th, Film at 11, and I have to think as a trainer, when you have the opportunity to go out there as well and sit behind them, gives you another perspective. And here's one that actually qualified pretty well last week. It's not the quickest of times, but you were here last Saturday. It was pretty windy.
Yeah, I think the times will certainly be looking a little more impressive this week, obviously with them taking a step up after their first qualifier. But to your point, Mark, the conditions weren't ideal last week, and they certainly are much better here today.
So there is a look at number 6, Film at 11, $170,000 yearling purchase out of the Lexington Select sale. Out of the Muscle Hill mare, Demoiselle Hanover. You look at the family here out of the 2nd dam. This is the family of Donato Hanover. Here comes Herbie. A deep, deep page here for Film at 11, who made a break on the lead last time. So we'll see what this filly can bring. She's a daughter of Green Shoe from his 2nd crop, and when you talk about Green Shoe, Green Manalishi, Chimpanzee, you go back to 2019, that 3-headed monster that Marcus Melander had to offer. All 3 were in the Breeders' Crown Final here at Woodbine Mohawk Park. Green Shoe in his 2nd crop, I think they're going to continue to maybe show up as well. There were some mixed results last year, but they'll get another chance this season.
Yeah, I think you got to give them a couple crops before you kind of judge on how they perform, like on their offspring perform on the track. And I think to your point, Mark, the Green Shoes are certainly, they're built for speed, and it's just whether the stability of them, and I think we'll see that more in the 2nd crop versus the 1st and into the future.
So it'll be a field of 7 as they're getting set to line up behind the starting gate as the wings are opening right now. So let's meet the field for qualifier number 7, 2-year-old trotting fillies here. Number 1, Medley is going to kick things off. Tyler Borth is driving for trainer Blake McIntosh. Wheeling and dealing filly. Number 2, Points in the Paint. She's a daughter of bar hopping. Matt Bax trains and drives. Number 3 is Halmac Glider, muscle mass filly trained by Victor Putty with Trevor Henry. Next up will be number 4, Celtics White Sox. Gino Toscani for trainer Desiree Jones. This is a 6-pack. 5, JS, She's Real Special. Muscle Mass filly trained by Greg McNair. Doug McNair drives. 6 is Film at 11. Green Shoe filly is trained by Matt Bax. James McDonald is in the sulky. And number 7 is Rich Girl. John Pentland trains this daughter of Wheelin' and Dealin'. And the driver is Bob McClure. So it'll be a field of 7 for qualifier number 7. And as our rookie showcase continues here this morning, we're getting set for qualifier number 7. We want to give a big shout out to all our sponsors helping to bring today's coverage, including Harness Racing Update, the London Classic Yearling Sale, Sealster Farms, Tara Hills Stud, HPI Bet. We appreciate all of our sponsors' support, including Twin Brook Farms, Winback Farm. Thanks again for their support of this year's Rookie Showcase on KOSA TV. Here we go for our 7th qualifier today from Woodbine Mohawk Park. Here they come for the 7th. And they're off and trotting. Points in the paint is stepping ahead from the inside. Medley Sealster is currently second. Here comes Celtics White Sox forward. As also down the center of the track, J.S. She's Real Special moves up on the outside into 4th. Howmack Glider is going to get away in 5th as Film at 11 takes back this week to get away 6th. And 7th is Rich Girl. Celtics White Sox is put on the front. This is the 3rd qualifier for Celtics White Sox, and she's on top here as they go to the opening panel. Points in the paint in 2nd, then 3 lengths back to Medley Sealster. The opening quarter was 32 and 4. Trotting fillies will straighten out into the backstretch. Celtics White Sox, a daughter of Six Pack, is the leader. Points in the paint is in 2nd, 3 lengths back to Medley Sealster in 3rd. JS She's Real Special is racing in 4th. Then it's Howmack Glider in 5th, followed by Film at 11 6th, and 3 more lengths to the trailer in 7th. That is Rich Girl. So from front to back, it's about 15 lengths, maybe even a little more. Celtics White Sox got to the opening panel in 32 and 4, and that one's going to hit the half now in 103 flat. So that was a 2nd quarter trotted in 30 and 1. Celtics White Sox goes into that turn and takes it a little wide here out into about the 2 path as Gino Toscani straightens her out and gets her back down to the rail. Points in the paint is stalking there in 2nd, is a little bit closer now. Medley Sealster along with JS She's Real Special back to Howmack Glider. Then it is Film at 11 and the trailer is Rich Girl. They're all getting closer to the leader, and here is that lead chain. Points in the paint wasn't going to sit 2nd any longer. Also on the move is Medley Sealster, 3/4 time, 133 and 2. Off stride at 3/4 was Film at 11. They're into the stretch. Points in the paint, leads it by a length. Medley Sealster bearing down on the outside as that one is pressuring. Celtics White Sox is hanging in there, is between rivals in 3rd. JS She's Real Special is then in 4th. The battle is on with the 16th to go. Medley Sealster looking to get the upper hand. Medley Sealster overtakes the lead. Points in the paint, the inside 2nd. Celtics White Sox coming back on with a late rush will actually finish 2nd. The time of the mile is 2:02 and 3. It was Medley Sealster over Celtics White Sox. Points in the paint 3rd, and JS She's Real Special was 4th. So 2:02 and 3 is the time here in qualifier number 7 as Medley Sealster, a daughter of Wheelin' and Dealin', now has back-to-back baby race scores. Tyler Borth for trainer Blake McIntosh, but I want to focus in on number 4, Celtics White Sox, who was doing the road work, gives up the lead at 3/4, and about that final 16th probably was trotting as well as anybody, as that one certainly came with a good final rush.
Yeah, she looked like she raced like a horse that has 10 starts under her belt. Like you said, a couple moves and then a late move in the stretch there. And the raced real well. And obviously Medley Sealster was fresh off cover there and closed up well to take the victory here this morning. But to your point, Mark, a couple moves is pretty rare for a 2-year-old filly. And I guess they're now 3rd qualifier, but was certainly impressive.
2:02 and 3 was the final time. That's 3 seconds quicker than Medley Sealster's win last Saturday morning. They were giving a 2nd for the win, so as you expect, drops a little bit of time. Nice performance here from Medley Sealster. Trainer Blake McIntosh, this daughter of Wheelin' and Dealin', a successful baby race score. Time for another commercial break here on our Rookie Showcase. Don't go anywhere. You're watching KOSA TV.
Winback Farm of Canada's now home to Meadowlands Pace Champion Beach Glass.
Beach Glass wins the Cane Pace. Beach Glass.
Well, today it's Beach Glass.
And Beach Glass is going to get there. Beach Glass in front.
Beach Glass. The beach is back. Beach Glass.
New to Winback Farm of Canada in 2024. For information, visit winbackfarm.com.
Harness Racing Update is the sport's most comprehensive and timely news source. HRU covers the sport from all angles with news, features, photography, opinion, and analysis of racing. Also, HRU covers breeding and sales, as well as industry stories you need to know. It's all delivered by a deep, diverse, and talented team of writers and photographers. And the best news is that it's free to subscribe. Subscribe to HRU today for free at harnessracingupdate.com and see what everyone is talking about.
Welcome back to the Rookie Showcase here on KOSA TV. As we get a look at the babies, a lot of them making their debuts here this morning and this weekend. And I always get a kick out of the names here, Tony. So I know you haven't looked at this board just yet, but as we take a look at some of maybe the more unique names or a little play on words that we've seen from some of the 2-year-olds, I'll say as an announcer, one thing is I don't care if it's a funny name or not, just make sure I can say it. That's probably the easiest thing. But Celtics White Sox, we just saw race really well. I'm not sure if they were naming it after basketball or baseball. How about Nike, who we're going to see here in the 8th qualifier, kickback in the last, and a little bit earlier on we saw Barb Leahy have a nice performance named after the Trailer Park Boys character, and the Mona Lisa, one of the more iconic paintings. So Mona Lisa, she's got a lot to stand up to. I guess if I was asking you, no, I'm not going to actually ask you and put you on the spot, but would you go with one of those fun names named a TV character or something like that?
Yeah, I think I would. Sometimes it's funny, with the best ones are the ones that the announcers can play off of. Like I remember maybe it was in the maiden last year, there was a horse named Wikipedia, and you were calling the race, and he said, look that one up. And so I thought that was pretty funny, because sometimes it's not necessarily the name of the horse, but what you can do with the name from an announcer standpoint.
I will say I'm not most creative, at least when it comes to the arts, but every once in a while get a one-liner out there. All right, the horses are on the track for qualifier number 8, 2-year-old pacing fillies here. It'll be a field of 6. 2 of them are making their second appearances, that being Banner Day and Courtly Maiden. The others all for the first time. There's a look at My Tide as Dale Spence drives for Ben Hollingsworth, and Dale Spence drives American History Saturday night. I think that one is in the race 12 mandatory payout race here on the North America Cup card, or race 13. I said that at the draw the other day. I thought there was only 12 races. There is 13. But Dale Spence coming into Ontario this summer, and they're having a nice little go.
Yeah, they certainly are. With American History, he's kind of changed his approach with how he's raced. Like normally he's kind of been the front end specialist, getting down to 3/4 and 121 or faster at times, and kind of trying to hang on. But they changed his approach to racing off cover, and he certainly has had a lot of success in recent times, and is certainly raced in the top class and sometimes up into the preferred here at Woodbine Mohawk Park.
There's a look at the 6 Courtly Maiden. Bob McClure coming by. I think he was saying something to me, but I couldn't hear it. This is a daughter of Courtly Choice, second qualifier, and this time it very much is take 2, because last had broken equipment at the start and had to pull up right away. So second go at it. We didn't get a really good look last week to see what she might offer, so curious to see how this Courtly Choice filly does perform today. There's a look at the one Banner Day, who I guess for all intents and purposes is the only one that has qualifying experience. And this Sunshine Beach filly was a winner last week.
Yeah, raced good last week, and I just wanted to touch on the 6, like you mentioned, was broken equipment. The saddle pad came off and was hanging on the hobble, so we don't know if this horse has much speed just yet, but it certainly has the temperament to handle something like that, which was certainly could have been a difficult situation. But Bob McClure and obviously the filly were well in hand and under control there, and it was certainly a compliment to Bob, and the filly was certainly for a 2-year-old filly to have a saddle pad hang off her hobble. She was certainly professional.
There's on Banner Day, as mentioned, 2:02 was the time last week. The win for Jody Jamieson and Paul Cameron. Won by a length, home in 29 seconds, and got to sit covered up for most of the trip in the 3-hole before surging by and going by some rivals. You'd love to see a horse that will go on by. Number 2 is Nike, and this was one that we had some fun with the name. Better's Delight filly. Doc Moore trains. $100,000 year was this Better's Delight filly. It was owned by Let It Ride Stables and Odds On Racing. Anything that figures, it's going to catch your eye. Mythical the Dam, she was a 6-figure earner, and she's been quite the producer. From 11 foals, she's had 6 winners, 3 of them in 53 or better, including Alicorn. She was a very speedy filly who took a mark of 150-3 as a 2-year-old. So here is the full sister to Alicorn. This here is Nike, and I'm very curious to see how this one will go.
Yeah, based on the pedigree, you would think that she'd be pretty good, but just such a rich family, and it's become an older mare, but certainly is continuing to throw some talented fillies. And to your point, the full sister Alicorn is something that certainly checks the box, and that's probably the reason why she brought 100,000.
Yeah, and another full sister is $800 bill, and because we're talking about fillies, I think it's important to mention what could be after their racing career, and that is as broodmares, $800 bill, who's the full sister to Nike. She's the dam of Hunt in the Last Dollar, who is one of the top 4-year-old pacers this year, had a lot of success last year at 3. He's a lifetime winner of over 700,000, sub 150 mark. So even in the family there, not only is Mythical producing some nice racehorses, also producing some nice broodmares. Okay, qualifier number 2-year-old pacing fillies are lining up. It is a field of 6, at least intended to be a field of 6. Looks like we're going to have just 5 of them going forward. So let's field. Number 1 is Banner Day, a Sunshine Beach filly. Jody Jameson drives for trainer Paul Cameron. Number 2 is Nike, Better's Delight filly trained by Dr. Ian Moore. Louis-Philippe Waugh is in the sulky. 3 is My Tide, McWicked filly trained by Ben Hollingsworth. The driver is Dale Spence. Next up will be number 5, Blowin' Doe. That's a sports writer filly. Kyle Boston's trains and Trevor Henry drives. And 6 is Courtly Maiden, Courtly Choice filly trained by Blake McIntosh. And at the lines is Bob McClure. Starting gate making its way around the far turn. We're scratched down to a field of 5. Take out number 4. Nice Buns. So a group of 5 2-year-old pacing fillies coming to the top of the stretch. Gate swings into the lane. They're picking up speed, and here they come. And they're off and pacing. Banner Day at the rail is getting away quickly along with next door neighbor Nike as they get away 1-2. My Tide gets away in 3rd as Blowin' Doe is on that one's wheel in 4th. And then it's Courtly Maiden to get away in 5th. Looks like Banner Day doesn't want control as coming around is Nike. And Nike's not going to have the lead either because Blowin' Doe on the outside is moving up to the lead here for Trevor Henry. So Blowin' Doe will get to the top ahead of Nike in 2nd. Banner Day will then follow in 3rd, then to My Tide in 4th, and 5th at the opening quarter was Courtly Maiden. 32-2 was the opening panel. As they come out of the first turn, Blowin' Doe leads it by a couple of lengths. Nike is in 2nd. Banner Day, a winner last week, sits 3rd. Again, 2.5 lengths into My Tide in 4th, and 3 lengths back to the trailer, Courtly Maiden in 5th. So Blowin' Doe has that loose lead. It's a couple of lengths here for Blowin' Doe as this sports writer filly is in control. Nike, the Better's Delight filly, watches from in 2nd. The Sunshine Beach filly, Banner Day, is racing in 3rd. Then it's the McWicked filly, My Tide 4th, and 5th is the Courtly Choice filly. That is Courtly Maiden. The half was 1 flat. Second quarter was 29-3. Blowin' Doe leads it by a little more than a length and a half as Nike starts to get a little bit closer. Banner Day just continuing to follow along there in 3rd. My Tide in 4th, and a couple of lengths back to Courtly Maiden in 5th. Nothing has changed in the order here through the middle half, and Blowin' Doe will race by the 3rd marker in 1:30-4. So they stepped it up there, 28-4 in the 3rd quarter. Blowin' Doe into the lane. Nike at the has a big path to try and come on and chase down the leader. Instead, Banner Day tries to split on through. My Tide in 4th and Courtly Maiden in 5th. It's still Blowin' Doe with the lead. Banner Day about a length and a half away, trying to get a little bit closer. Blowin' Doe into deep stretch. Banner Day continues to chase up the inside. It's Blowin' Doe to win it by about half a length. Second was Banner Day. Then it was My Tide 3rd. Nike was 4th and Courtly Maiden 5th. 1:59-2. So a 1:59-2 victory here in the debut for the Kyle Boston's trained sports writer filly Blowin' Doe, and you could see them as they were going into the first turn. It was a question of who was going to do the road work. Blowin' Doe that and goes the distance. Banner Day with a good push up the inside to make things close, as that's back-to-back nice qualifiers for that daughter of Sunshine Beach.
Yeah, she was good again, fighting along the inside there up against Blowin' Doe, and certainly looks like that has a bit of heart so far, and just looks like they have a bit of speed, obviously, with coming home as quick as they did.
So the time of the mile was 1:59 and 2. Blow and Dough takes our 8th qualifier. There's a look at our latest winner as we've got 2 to go on this Thursday morning here on COSA TV.
Yearling Sale, Canada's premier standardbred auction, returns October 15th and 16th to the Western Fair District Agriplex. Recent London sales standouts include O'Brien Award winners and millionaire performers, Logan Park, Fashion Frenzy, and Stockade Sealster. Leading North American consigners and yearlings by the sports buyers, all under one roof in a world-class facility. Find your next champion at the London Classic Yearling Sale. Find out more by visiting londonclassic.ca.
Sealster, a name synonymous with quality. From their picturesque farm in Lucan, Ontario, Sealster Farms has been producing champions for decades. Stars like $650,000 winner Poseidon Sealster, millionaire mares Karma and Kendall Sealster, and two-time O'Brien Award-winning Stockade Sealster. Sealster is also the home of many of Canada's top stallions, like Sunshine Beach, All Bets Off, and world champion superstar Bulldog Hanover, the sport's all-time fastest performer. Find your next champion at Sealster Farms. For more information, visit sealsterfarms.com.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Rookie Showcase here on COSA TV. 2 qualifiers remains on this Thursday morning. A day full of fillies this afternoon, and then tomorrow it'll be the Colts and Geldings' turn. As we get set for this 9th qualifier, we're going to see Bob McIntosh debut a couple of rookies here today, one here in the 9th and then one in the 10th. So he's bringing a trotting filly and a pacing filly to town. In this 9th qualifier will be number 4, Incantation, and this is one of 2, as mentioned. This is a muscle mass filly. Then in the 10th, we will see from the McIntosh barn Famous Fast Words, who's a daughter of sports writer. But I wanted to mention these 2 fillies because those homebreds, they have their own broodmare band, of course, as they've had for so long. And these 2 fillies have some pretty prominent bloodlines, as you can see right there. Incantation is the first foal from the cadaver mare More Magic, and More Magic racked up some good earnings on the track. And then how about Famous Fast Words, who we'll see in the last? That's the first foal for Sex Appeal. She was a Grand Circuit winner. She won a division of the Simcoe Stakes. She was also an OSS Gold winner that made over $250,000. So here are a couple of fillies that we certainly will have to keep an eye on, as you always do with any Bob McIntosh trainee.
Yeah, he certainly brings them out ready to go, and we've seen that with, and he's not afraid to be a patient either, is what I would say. Is that Convoy Hall obviously waited on him until his 3-year-old year, and we've seen what he's done so far this year. And to your point, he always has them ready as 2-year-olds, and if not, he has them ready as 3-year-olds.
There's a look at Incantation. That is a muscle mass filly, as mentioned, out of the cadaver mare More Magic. This is one, again, we'll have a close eye on. We'll talk more about as we get closer. Next up, though, why don't we take a look at the Blake McIntosh trainee, Amazing Grace Deo. You were talking about that number, I think it was, what was it, 21 or 22 that finished in the top 3 last weekend for the McIntosh barn in the first day of baby races, or the full first day. This was one of them, a 6-pack filly. The time's not going to pop off, but the last quarter was good.
Yeah, 30-1 for first start on the track here, and a charted line is certainly good for a 2-year-old filly trotter. And I'm certainly a big fan of the 6-packs. Obviously, a muscle mass stallion, and certainly seems to be doing well in the stud barn. And you see a lot of them starting to show up on the Grand Circuit. So I'm sure Blake has some high hopes for this filly.
She's a Manalishi, is the number 5 here in qualifier number 9. And Green Manalishi had won 3 qualifiers, as mentioned. There were no Green Manalishis in our last trot one, so we'll see if this one can represent the father well here. She's a Manalishi, makes its debut for trainer-driver Lyle MacArthur. So the trotting fillies are coming out onto the track. We look ahead towards the start of the 2-year-old racing season. I know we've seen them baby racing, but we're going to start to see them racing under the lights. And, you talk a lot of the handicappers out there. What are they looking for, you think, in these baby races? And I guess it's also just worth noting, a lot of handicappers will tell you it's fairly important to watch these replays.
Yeah, it's huge. And if you look in front of the grandstand here and up in the seats, there'll be quite a few of the serious horse players up there just trying to get a look at some of these 2-year-olds, because you can find some value in their first and second starts just because the times aren't going to be the real telltale for these fillies, and obviously the colts tomorrow. It's how they do it. They can open the door of what the potential could be down the road, and they're certainly taking notes on how they look and how they do it is more important than how they necessarily finish or the time they complete the mile in.
All right, as the fillies continue to get set, they'll be called in just a couple of moments. A reminder that the rookie showcase does continue tomorrow morning, as we'll have 2-year-old colts and geldings will be on the air just prior to 9:30 a.m. And if Greg comes back with a nice tan, we'll know where he was today, why he couldn't have made it. But he is expected to be back with us tomorrow morning. There's, again, a look at the Bob McIntosh train incantation that we had talked about, one of two. His first two-year-olds he's going to debut this season. And I mentioned about More Magic. This is her first foal. She made it to the races, but it's more kind of the family you see here. A Cadabra filly, homebred that they kept this one, of course, as they do with a lot of their mares. And you look at her dam, and that was Direct Dial, who made over 100,000. She was a balanced image who produced 10 winners. So you like to see that, 10 foals, 10 winners. And while maybe the success wasn't there on the track for More Magic, hey, now we'll see if maybe she's going to live up to kind of what her family has done as she gets a chance to be a broodmare.
Yeah, they're certainly looking back to the second dam sometimes. Maybe the first dam on some of these fillies here today are not necessarily the showing the pedigree. The second dam was generally going to be the one where you're going to pass along the traits. Like you mentioned, this mare made it to the races, but didn't necessarily perform up to the expectations that they likely had for the mare. But she's hoping that they can pass it down from the Grand Dam and on to the future generations.
There's a look at the 7, Talos, for Matt Bax, who will also do the driving of Father Patrick filly. She went around last week in 2:05.2 with a final quarter in 29.2. Race near the back. We'll see if they change things up, although with the outside starting spot. Not sure if they'll flash that early speed or just take back and try and finish well once again. We'll find out here in just a couple of moments as the horses are lining up for our 9th qualifier here today. Number 1 is Amazing Grace Deo. Jody Jameson drives for trainer Blake McIntosh. This is a daughter of 6-pack. 2 is Callie Tricks, a Trixton filly trained by Paul Reed. Bob McClure is in the bike. 3 is Talia Sealster, Archangel filly trained by Kyle Fellows with James McDonald. Number 4, Incantation, is a Muscle Mass filly trained by Bob McIntosh. Sylvan Filion drives. 5, She's a Manalishi, Green Manalishi filly. Trainer driver is Lyle MacArthur. 6 is Unsinkable Molly Brown, a Royalty for Life filly trained by Kyle Bossens with Trevor Henry driving. And number 7 is Talos, a Father Patrick filly. The trainer driver is Matt Bax. Two to go on this Thursday morning as the trotting fillies are lined up for qualifier number 9. Final look at the trotting fillies here today. We'll cap things off on the pace in qualifier number 10. Gate swings into the stretch, and here they come. And they're off and trotting, and there goes Talos from the outside as that one surges forward at the word go. Amazing Grace Dale also left out well, so the inside, the outside pair with good beginnings. Now down the center of the track comes Incantation. Unsinkable Molly Brown will drop in behind as that one gets away in 4th and can settle into a hole in front of Callie Tricks, who gets away in 5th. Then it's Talia Sealster 6th, and She's a Manalishi will be the trailer in 7th. As they go to the opening quarter, Talos and Matt Bax, they switch things up this week after racing off the pace last time out. This week they cut out an opening quarter of 31-1. Incantation is racing in 2nd, then it's Amazing Grace Deo in 3rd. Unsinkable Molly Brown is 4th, followed by Callie Tricks in 5th. Off stride went Talia Sealster in 6th, and at the back 7th, that is She's a Manalishi. The front 3 closely grouped as they got a little bit of separation. Talos shows the 31-1 was the opening quarter. Incantation follows that one's every move in the pocket. And it's Amazing Deo in third, going back to Unsinkable Molly Brown in fourth. The half was 102-3, and as they hit the far turn, Talos is in control. Incantation getting the nice toe second, Amazing Grace Deo in third. Then it's about 8 or 9 lengths going back to Unsinkable Molly Brown in fourth. Fifth into the far bend is Callie Tricks, followed by She's a Manalishi, and the second quarter breaker, Talia Sealster, is last. They're halfway around the far bend. Talos still leading it. 102-3 was the half. They pick it up now coming to 3/4, which is going to pop up on the board in 132-1, 29-3 in the third split, and they swing for home. It is Talos with the lead, trying to go coast to coast. Incantation 2 lengths away in second. Amazing Grace Deo is third, and then Unsinkable Molly Brown back in fourth. And an 8th to go, and Talos, the Father Patrick filly, looking good. This one was ready to rock and is going to take qualifier number 9. Incantation in the debut will finish 2 lengths back in second, and then it'll be going back to Amazing Grace Deo third, and fourth Unsinkable Molly Brown. 2 minutes and a fifth for Talos. So the Father Patrick filly, Talos, wins it in 2 minutes and a fifth, and I mentioned it as they were going to the gate, the fact that they raced this one from behind last week, didn't really pass any rivals, but trotted a final quarter at 29-2, and obviously they were ready to send her forward today as she got off real well with a nice beginning and goes all the way.
Yeah, I think they were certainly trying to teach her how to race both ways, and she certainly seemed to like the front end here today. 2 minutes and a fifth is a good mile in the second 2-year-old qualifier for this Father Patrick filly.
Yeah, it drops 4 seconds, or actually make that 5 seconds. In fact, it was 2:05-2. It was a little windy last week. Here today, though, enough of a breeze, I guess you could say. At least it's a comfortable breeze down here just outside the paddock at our broadcast location. So 1 qualifier remains on this Thursday morning. We're going to cap things off with pacing fillies when we come back on Costa TV.
Harness Racing Update is the sport's most comprehensive and timely news source. HRU covers the sport from all angles with news, features, photography, opinion, and analysis of racing. Also, HRU and sales, as well as industry stories you need to know. It's all delivered by a deep, diverse, and talented team of writers and photographers. And the best news is that it's free to subscribe. Subscribe to HRU today for free at harnessupdate.com. and see what everyone is talking about.
Woodbine Farm of Canada is home to 9 exceptional stallions, including Beach Glass, the last great son, legendary sire of sires, some beach somewhere. Also 24 Lawless Shadow, an O'Brien Award winner for 2-year-old pacing colts and geldings. Double millionaire betting line, sire of 5 winners of over $400,000. Merrick Wicked, the richest stallion in harness racing history and Hall of Fame inductee. Trixton, sire of 6 who have earned over $500,000, including O'Brien Award winner Evident Beauty. Also standing Archangel, Better Than Cheddar, Better's Delight, and My MVP. For more information, winbackfarm.com.
Welcome back to the desk here on Costa TV. Day number 2 of our rookie showcase is almost in the books. We got 1 qualifier to go. We're back at it tomorrow morning. Myself and Greg Blanchard will be sitting right here in a little less than 24 hours time. We'll be up on the air just before 9:30 a.m. It'll be Colts and Geldings tomorrow. Looking forward to that. Probably going to be a bit of an even split, as you can see here. 10 qualifiers for the fillies. Hope that same number, I would guess, for the Colts and Geldings tomorrow. Things are starting to heat up, there's no doubt about it, Tony. And in this last qualifier, you go through those entries, you try to find some either trainers that you're going to make a note when they're sending one out. Sometimes it's the sires that you're making notes of how many they're represented by. Other times you just see a mare that you know is already a great brood mare, and you go, oh, got to make a note of this one. And that's the case here with number 4, Tall Dark Lady, as this is a Better's Delight filly out of the Art Major Bear, Precocious Beauty.
Yeah, like this filly is obviously a full sister to Total Strangers, obviously racing the NA Cup final on the Saturday night. So it's kind of a look ahead to Saturday and a look towards the future for this filly. And obviously a full sister to Tall Dark Stranger as well, who won the North American Cup back in 2020. So it's a lot of hopes and dreams behind this filly, and certainly the family has lived up to expectations so far.
Yeah, and Jim Averts had just quite a go with these mares, whether that be Precocious Beauty or Prescient Beauty. And think about about that, to have those two mares both represented in the North America Cup this Saturday. That is quite an accomplishment, as Prescient Beauty, the dam of Captain's Quarters, and Precocious Beauty, as you just mentioned, is the dam of Total Stranger. So those two will go forward in Saturday's big race. So it'll be the little sister, that being Tall Dark Lady, one of the competitors in what is scheduled to be a field of 6 to cap things off. There's a look at number 6, Famous Fast Words. We were talking about the Bob McIntosh duo he was sending out today. I thought Incantation raced pretty well for its first go. Here's Famous Fast Words, and this is a sports writer filly out of the Better's Delight mare Sex Appeal. It's her first foal. I'm always intrigued by the first foals, especially when they come out of a mare like Sex Appeal.
Yeah, it certainly is. People like to wait on for the second foal to see how the first one does, but sometimes you can find some value. Obviously, a homebred, you're not real concerned about that because standing in the field. But if you're buying them at the yearling sale, sometimes you can get a little value for your buck when you're buying the first foal of a dam. But Mark, when these fillies are coming out of these pacing mares that have made like $500,000 plus, there's nothing cheap to find that they're throwing.
Yeah, I mean, I look at Sex Appeal. I mean, she made over $250,000 during her racing career. She only had 26 starts. That's something else I look at, is how many starts the mares had. Some of these war mares who we remember for being just so tough on the track maybe don't always necessarily transition to being the top brood mares, but Sex Appeal with her breeding, she being a Better's Delight, and then of course what she showed on the track, a mark of 150 and 2, a 7-time winner with $250,000 in the bank. I'm definitely curious to see what her first will bring to the table here. There's a look at number 2, Kit Kat, as Chris Matthews trains and drives. Daughter of Dance and Lou. We haven't talked much about the Dance and Lou. There's another first crop that's debuting this season. And, I think could probably make an impact here in Ontario.
Yeah, people love the Sweet Lou's. Obviously, this is the son of Sweet Lou and standing here in Ontario. And I've heard some good reports how they're training down. And like you said, Mark, we haven't seen too many yet, but they look like they'll be sought after. He certainly was a heck of a horse when he was on here, and I think he was third in the British Crown when we last had it here.
Winner. That's right, yes.
Winner.
Yeah, there you go. So that was where he had his big moment, was right here at Woodbine Mohawk Park. Number 5 is Lady Gambler. We're going to see that one for the second time. Last week she qualified in 203-1, home in 29-2. She got away 6th. She would pass one rival in the lane to finish 5th. This one is trained by Luke Blais. Louis Waugh will drive, and another one that you go through and you see some pretty prominent names on her pedigree page. The second dam is She's a Great Lady, and then here is a sister to Greatest Ending, who has made over $400,000 in his racing career, and En Avant, who Greg and I talked about last week, a big horse, Some Beach Somewhere son, that I don't ever think really reached his full potential, but he did get a pretty fast mark of 148, made over $250,000, 17 wins. But I mean, that horse to me could have made even more, just had to overcome some issues.
Yeah, he almost looks like Wheels on Fire. He's that kind of size horse, but he covered ground as quickly as a horse could with such a big stride. But to your point, Mark, certainly the potential of this horse was certainly not reached, but still had a heck of a racing career.
You just saw the 3, Oju Hanover. That's a Stay Hungry filly out of the Western Hanover mare, Always True. Always True. She's had 13 foals, including this one here. Dam of 8 winners, including all 8 having gone into market 53 or better, including a millionaire, that being Dynamic Youth. This will be the first qualifier for Oju Hanover, as that one was on your screen a moment ago. There's a look at number 1, Beach Games, as it'll be Bob McClure doing the driving here. This is a daughter of Sunshine Beach that goes for trainer Francis Dumichel, and if you go all the way back, I think it was qualifier number 1, it was a Dumichel trainee that did get the victory, that being T.H. Monica, so could bookend the action here today. All right, we're set for qualifier number 10 as the gate starts to get in motion. Let's meet the field of pacing fillies. Kicking things off is number 1, Beach Games, a Sunshine Beach filly trained by Francis Dumichel. The driver is Bob McClure. Number 2 is Kit Kat, a Dancin' Lou filly. Chris Matthews trains and drives. Number 3, Oju Hanover, is a Stay Hungry filly trained by Tony Beaton, James McDonald in the bike. Number 4 is out. We won't see Tall Dark Lady here this morning, so 5 will be Lady Gambler. She's a daughter of Better's Delight. Luke Blais trains Louis Waugh to do the driving. And number 6 is Famous Fast Words, sports writer filly trained by Bob McIntosh. Sylvain Filion is in between the wheels. That is your field for qualifier number 10 as we're going to cap things off. A reminder, we're back here tomorrow morning with another day of baby races. It'll be Colts and Geldings in the spotlight. We'll be up with our rookie showcase here on Costa TV just prior to the 9:30 post time for tomorrow morning's action. Horses for the finale in behind the starting gate. Starting gate comes off the turn and into the stretch. The pacing fillies for qualifier number 10. All set to go. Here they come. And they're off and pacing. Beach Games from the inside gets our call as the outside pair, that being Lady Gambler and Famous Fast Words, both come forward. Oju Hanover is going to move over to the rail to get away in fourth in front of Kit Kat, who gets away in fifth. Famous Fast Words is out to the early lead. Beach Games in second, as Wa's going to try and find a seat there in third with Lady Gambler right in front of Oju Hanover. Kit Kat then follows in fifth, so they do get lined up as they go into the first turn. Famous Fast Words, Sylvan filly on this Sports Writer filly, she's going to cut out an opening quarter of 31-1. So this field of 5 will get set to straighten into the backstretch. Famous Fast Words leads it by 2 lengths. The Sunshine Beach filly, Beach Games, is in second. Then you'll find the Better Delight filly, that's Lady Gambler, she's in third. The Stay Hungry filly, Oju Hanover, races in fourth. 2 lengths back to the Dancin' Lou filly, Kit Kat, who rounds things out in fifth. Not going to be any activity here in the second quarter. Famous Fast Words still has that lead at about 2.5 lengths. 31-1 opening panel. The half is hidden 101-2. So a little bit quicker there in the second quarter as they went 30-1. And Famous Fast Words starts to open up about 4 or 5 on nearest rival, Beach Games. Lady Gambler in third, looks set to go on as Oju Hanover is following then in fourth, and Kit Kat is in fifth. There comes the move out from third as Wa tugs on the right line, and here comes Lady Gambler on the outside, closing in on the leader. Oju Hanover follows that cover, so on the lead it's Famous Fast Words, and confronted now by Lady Gambler with Oju Hanover lurking on the outside in third. 3/4 was 131 flat, and at the top of the stretch they'll look to sprint on home. Famous Fast Words is trying to turn away the challenge of Lady Gambler. Oju Hanover stays in behind that rival as they come to the 8th pole. Famous Fast Words, Lady Gambler, and now here comes Oju Hanover on the far outside. 3 across into deep stretch. Famous Fast Words trying to go all the way. Oju Hanover on the outside getting up to the wheel. Famous Fast Words with a nice effort. Oju Hanover strong through the line second. Third then was Lady Gambler. Those 3 across in a mile time of 1:58.4. So they kick home in 27-4 in the final qualifier. Does Famous Fast Words to go the distance, and we had highlighted this one as this being the first full out of the Better's Delight stakes winning mare Sex Appeal, and this Sports Writer filly shows up with a real nice effort.
Yeah, there's certainly not too many 2-year-old fillies that can go 27-4 last score on the front end after cutting out the mile just like that. It was certainly impressive, and the 2 finishing up right with her were ultra impressive too. That's quite the trio of fillies to finish up the qualifiers in the day.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Oju Hanover, James McDonald kept that one buried in behind Lady Gambler till pretty much almost the last little more than a 16th to go in the mile. Lady Gambler as well, she made her big bid on the far turn as she had to get moving there behind a slowing rival and quickly rushed up to attack Famous Fast Words. But you love to see a filly like that in Famous Fast Words just turn aside those rivals, and it isn't even just close. She turns them aside to win it comfortably by a length. So a real nice performance in the debut for Famous Fast Words. So that's a 1:58.4 mile, which if I can remember off the top of my head, that'll be the quickest I think of the day for the, no, it'll be the second quickest. 1:58.2 back in qualifier number 2 was our quickest. But again, good mile time here today. A little bit of a head breeze, I guess you could say, coming down the stretch. But overall, I think this is just a picture-perfect morning. And keeping the fingers crossed, that's going to carry through the weekend, not just tomorrow for the baby races, but for Saturday night's big card, the Pepsi North America Cup here at Woodbine Mohawk Park. So with the qualifiers now complete, we want to give one final shout out to our sponsors here today that helped bring all of today's coverage to you. Harness Racing Update, your trusted source for news and information here in this great game. The London Classic Yearling Sale coming up on October 15th and 16th. down in London, Sealster Farms. They are a great supporter. We appreciate their support of today's action. As well, Tara Hills Stud, another one of our prominent breeding operations here in the province of Ontario. HPI Bet, watch and wager on all the great racing action coming from Woodbine Mohawk Park this North America Cup weekend. Twinbrook Farms, of course, they will be cheering on Twinbee Joe Fresh in Saturday night's Roses Are Red, another one of the big breeders and prominent breeders in the sport, along with Winback Farm, the largest commercial breeder in the game. So a big thank you to all of our supporters here this morning for the Rookie Showcase. We're back on the desk to sign off on this Thursday morning. Mark McKelvey along with Tony Elliott. Tony, thanks so much for taking a little time, and a big thank you as well to Bill O'Donnell, the president of COSA, who joined us in the first half of today's action. Get your final thoughts here on what we saw here this morning from these fillies, at least in that back half of the action with you on the desk. I thought, again, some nice performances, but maybe those final three are three that we've got to circle.
Yeah, I think you certainly do. It was a lot of talented fillies, especially in the last three, and I think they're certainly going to be ready to jump in the box here early, and obviously probably most of them are looking towards some sire stake events.
Well, we'll be back here tomorrow morning with another round of the Rookie Showcase, as it'll be the 2-year-old Colts and Geldings. But I told you when I first brought you on the desk, I was going to put you on the spot. Who's your pick for the North America Cup coming up on Saturday night?
I'm going to go with number 8, Legendary Hanover. Obviously, he's been one of the big dogs throughout the early part of the season, and just got nipped at the wire there last week. But it's a totally different ball game with the full field, and obviously $1 million up for grabs. Jody Jameson's a little disagreeing with my pick. I got to go with the value, Jody.
Morning line favorite. Captain's quarters, Jody? Morning line choice.
Morning line choice. There's no value there, Jody.
All right. Well, I like it. It's a competitive weekend here at Woodbine Mohawk Park for what's going to be a great evening coming up Saturday night for the Pepsi North America Cup. We're back at it tomorrow morning with another round of the Rookie Showcase here on COSA TV. Until then, we'll see you tomorrow. Have a great rest of your Thursday.
Stormed out because I can hear him in the back. I'm clear. Everybody's clear. Just remember exactly what you did today.
That's what I had initially, and then I switched it, and then I switched it back.
Okay.
Yeah, I got it. Yeah.
I think it was on my end because when the last thing I did was power cycle the receiver again. So it's like you probably got it right. But if you switched it, then I power cycled. You switched back, then I kind of heard it.
Yeah. Yeah, I took pictures. It'll be perfect tomorrow. Yeah, very nice. It's easy. So easy to twist in.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
What do you want me to do with the